Basically, with Litecoin, what we see here is we've got our, there's two major catalysts that affect Litecoin at any, in any given cycle. You have the Litecoin halvings, right? So Litecoin is very, very similar to Bitcoin. It runs on a 4-year halving schedule. Just, there's some slight tweaks and different hashing algorithms with Litecoin, but the two are extraordinarily similar. Obviously the supply for Litecoin's, much larger, which leads to kind of a lower price. But the idea here is that, Bitcoin and Litecoin operate on very similar catalyst events. So you have the Litecoin halving, and then you have the Bitcoin halving. Well, the Litecoin halving, Litecoin moving into the halving, unlike Bitcoin, which performs really well after the Bitcoin halving. Usually with Bitcoin, you get a little run up before the halving and then a big bull market after the Bitcoin halving. With Litecoin, you get a run up for the 6 to 8 months moving into a Litecoin halving. And then you get poor performance between the Litecoin halving and the Bitcoin halving, right? Poor performance, right? And then you get good performance in the bull market that usually follows a Bitcoin halving. However, the performance that you see in the bull market following the Bitcoin halving for Litecoin, yes, Litecoin performs well, but so does everything else. And Litecoin actually underperforms compared to other coins in a Bitcoin bull market, right? In an overall bull market, Litecoin, yeah, you're going to be fine in it, but you're going to leave a lot of opportunity at the table just because there's other altcoins that usually perform better. So we actually see Litecoin's dominance or market share continue to drift downwards even in these bull markets. However, the time where it drifts upwards, right? The times where Litecoin outperforms the rest of the market is in the 6 to 8 months leading into its halving, and we're starting to see that pattern again for Litecoin, where it appears as though we've bottomed out. And we've pumped off of the bottom here already about 68%. And we still have, 238 days or so before our next halving. Now, we've actually, historically peaked 40 days or so before before the Litecoin halving. Yeah, 6 to 7 weeks. So that would actually move this target up about 40 days. And we've got we'll measure that out just to make sure it's about correct. That's a little bit close. We'll move it over one. But we still have about 180 days, roughly 6 months of a time frame here where we'd actually expect Litecoin to continue to outperform the rest of the market, which it clearly has, right? Litecoin's doing quite well in comparison to its most recent local bottom. And then, if we look at the Bitcoin chart, we see that that's the opposite for Bitcoin. Bitcoin made that May-June low and has actually bled off further. So Litecoin from its June lows has actually outperformed the rest of the market, including Bitcoin. So decent time to hold Litecoin. If there's ever a time to hold it, it's at this point in time, in my opinion.
Yeah, Litecoin is just one of those that, at first was the silver to Bitcoin, right? The digital silver, and it's kind of, died out. The only good thing that they did kind of implement a little bit ago was the Mimblewimble privacy layer protocol onto them. But obviously Litecoin is one of those projects that kind of died out ever since the founder pretty much sold their entire bags and has never really taken off again. And like you said, underperforms compared to a lot of the other altcoins